Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have a lot more fun. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman. I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source. We help contractors build great teams. My guest today is Rusty George from We Help Builders Get Louder. That sounds like a good thing to do.
That
So,
is.
Rusty, tell me a little about your background and how this company got started and what you guys actually do.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I'm Rusty George. We help builders get louder. We are a marketing agency that's located in the South Puget Sound of the Western Washington, about 40 minutes south of Seattle. And a long time ago, being in Tacoma, that's where we're based, we were always kind of the ugly kid sister to the prom queen to the north, always the challenger brand. And so because of the fact that we weren't in downtown Seattle, we didn't have to go and chase the tech or the entertainment businesses, the healthcare. And instead, we just kind of gravitated to the businesses that were kind of in our direct vicinity, which just so happened to be a lot of blue collar builders, construction, manufacturers, metal fabricators, and material suppliers. And we just kind of really connected with them, and we saw that there was a big need to help them get louder, because one of the problems with the building industry as a whole is it doesn't do a good job in promoting itself. Like all these other industries around are doing everything they can to attract the talent, and because it's just such a very humble personality that they have. They are really good at building, really good at managing teams, moving dirt, but they all businesses seem to just kind of rely on what basically their fathers, that a lot of them took over the businesses, or their fathers before them, how they did business, which was always like a handshake, or relying on referrals, or their contacts, and not really ever, and almost thinking that doing marketing was kind of a badge of failure, that you weren't producing a good enough result, therefore it wasn't there was nobody out there that was talking great about you, and therefore it must be something you were doing wrong. And so it's really hard for them to grasp that they do need to actually do
Right.
marketing. They do need to
Well,
get out there and promote themselves. So that's
yeah,
kind of our
thanks,
mission that we've taken on.
Rusty. I used to tell my contractor coaching for a long time, and it's hard for them to. I said, you're actually most successful businesses, at least in the United States, are marketing companies that fund their marketing with some kind of product or service. But
Hmm.
they're clearly, well, I don't care where it's Costco or Amazon, or they're all marketing companies. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, you're right, builders don't get that concept. They see marketing as a failure, not as what they do basically. So
Hmm.
how do you help guys make that shift from, oh, marketing means I'm not doing a good job, to marketing is what I need to do mostly?
Well, I mean, it is kind of a hard thing. And then, there's all these things that have kind of been layered onto that. This concept, or this, perception that, well, all I need to do is just kind of buy $500 worth of Google AdWords, and that, then call it a day. That's basically it.
Right.
Or now that there's AI, all I have to do is log into ChatGPT and have it write some kind of content to put onto my website, and therefore that's going to be enough to do it. And then there's that whole just thinking that it's all just about frozen dinners, that if you just do spend $500 on advertising, then that will result in $500 worth of qualified leads. And if not, then it's a broken system, and I just need to revert back to just cold calling my friends and saying, hey, do you have any business, or just kind of doing desperate measures in order to bring stuff in. um, Understanding that doing marketing, especially in this day and age, with all the crazy things going on and how everything's evolving exponentially, it still relies on having a brand level differentiator, a brand level, being able to talk about what you do that's so much more interesting and different and valuable to the people who are going to be getting your services, um, than just resorting to superficial tactics, and knowing that it takes time to do that. You have to build a good brand, you have to build a reputation, you have to capitalize on all the great projects that you've done in the past, your team, your technology, your process, and then be able to articulate that on everything from your website to your proposals to even social media, so that the people that are looking at you, they might not have the opportunity going on at the very moment, but if you do it consistently, professionally, and you're able to do it in a unique sort of way, you're going to be top of mind the next time they have that project that they want to bring you in on. Or a homeowner that wants to rebuild their deck, they're going around and they're looking at your website just like everybody else's website. There are a dozen other people who can do the exact same thing that you're doing. And yeah, you might have, done a deck for Paul Allen 25 years ago or something like that, and that was great. But that's not going to be anything that they're going to remember. You, you know, uh, you have to be able to develop stuff that makes them find you to be not only able to do the work, but also showing that you have a passion for it. You have a subject matter expertise. You have a unique point of view, so that it gives them a reason to keep coming back and looking at your stuff, to connect with you on social media, to think of you over and over again until finally, and then build trust and confidence in your in who you are as a person, not necessarily your capabilities, so that they'll go with you when it's finally time to make the decision among your competition.
So, Rusty, I have a question that comes up for me a couple of times. One is, I have a $3 million remodel company, pick a number, $5 million remodel company.
Mhm.
What percentage of my gross should I spend on marketing? Should I spend it on SEO? Should I spend it on pay-per-click? How should I use AI? Is that the super end all be all? Are people moving from AI, from Google? These are all questions that come up all the time. So I would say the first question is, you have any idea what percentage of gross one should pay for marketing?
That's been the golden question since before the turn of the century. They're aggressive is 10, even 15% of your annual sales. But it's like trying to pull out teeth in order to get people to commit to 1 to 2% in some cases. And then the amount that you spend really depends on who you're going after. You have your B2B companies who are, it's just basically about kind of galvanizing your reputation. And so that's where a lot of, investing your time into writing the right kind of content, kind of tapping into the subject matter experts in your company, so that you can get their expertise in order to write the content that's going to provide value, that's going to be something that the people who are going to eventually use you find valuable, and helps quell their anxieties or the concerns about their projects, and kind of build that reputation. So that's where
So,
ChatGPT comes in, and content and all that kind of stuff, and then displaying that on social media like LinkedIn or
right.
YouTube, the places that these people are going to actually be on, and then throwing some money behind that in order to promote it and get out to that targeted audience.
My sense, most of the people listening to this are probably B2C, right? They're business to consumer.
But then on the other hand, there's the B2C, and that
Yeah.
is a lot trickier. There are, like you said, the home services companies out there, the plumbers, the electrical, the remodelers are in that category, the roofers. I mean, we actually work with a roofer who spends $200,000 a month on just pay-per-click, and they're
Wow.
still slugging it out. The thing is that the smaller guys out there, the two chucks in the truck, but not necessarily those guys, but the people with a 10-person crew, they got great capabilities, they got the great the knowledge, and they got a great reputation. But you have to understand that you're not going out against the three other guys that you know. You're going against these people from national that are infusing this venture, their capital, they're VC backed. They have
Right.
money, they have the resources, they have entire teams of people who are not just spending the money on PPC, but they're also developing content. They're in order to make their websites. Uh,
How does a
um,
little guy compete? Let's say, as you know, private equity is showing up here because AI is my personal theory is that AI is making a lot of other things that private equity used to invest in not so good, whether it's medicine or pick one. AI legal, AI is taking over a lot of stuff, but AI isn't going to fix roads anytime soon. So there's a
right.
lot of private equity coming into the service industry and that kind of thing, and these companies are buying up small companies and spending a ton. How does the 10 guy or 15 guy roofing company or remodeling company compete with those guys that have a ton of cash?
Well, it's all about trying to beat them at their own game these days, and it's trying to beat AI at its own game these days too. I talked a little bit about B2B, having content that's going to be tantalizing and valuable to the people who are going to eventually hire you. It's the same thing with B2C. If you're going out to the general public, and the problem is that we're actually going into a phase of zero-click results now. If you go on the top of a Google search results page, which Google is still the monster of the search engine industry out
Right.
there, you're going to not just get the top people who've just paid all the money for the clicks. You're now going to get a generative paragraph now that's going to sum up your results. And you have to understand that the people are like, if they're looking to get a deck, they're not necessarily going to be coming to your homepage anymore. They're not relying on short keywords, like, which has been the dominating thing of the last 10 years. They're going to be actually getting used to writing full sentences saying, hey, I have my cedar deck that was installed 20 years ago, and it's now having all these rough stuff and it's getting rot. What is the best material that I need to replace in the Northwest, that it's a lot more rainy and it's a lot more moist, and it goes on and on and on. So somebody that actually is able to sit down and anticipate, based on your experience and your knowledge base, based on the 20, 50 years that you've been doing this, to answer those questions, to understand and catalog and provide content that is genuine, not chat GPT based, because chat GPT is pulling from anywhere and everywhere in the web and trying to synthesize it into an article that it thinks that you're going to accept. Instead, use it as maybe kind of a way to develop an outline of something to talk about, but draw upon your own expertise, your own unique knowledge base in order to write a 500-word article that you then put on your website, because the people that are going to be getting the answers to that are going to be getting it on that paragraph on the top of the Google search results page. And if you've done a good job in writing enough of a library that's a niche and it doesn't stray into all kinds of different subjects and it's just about that, hopefully your site, because it'll also draw upon the fact that this person asking the question was in your region, and it'll actually feature your company as the website that was sponsoring that information. So that's going to be the way that people are going to be able to have an edge over everyone else out there in the industry, because you have your big national companies that don't know, the specific information about the region. They don't draw upon your unique reputation. They don't leverage all the Google reviews that you might have on your site, which are very important. And to have a good representation of genuine, authentic information is the one thing that we stand on our heads to try to convince our clients who are in the building industry, the contractors, the ones who are out there trying to get, throw a huge net into the community. There's all kinds of tactics, but that's the number one thing that's going to be dominating the next 5 years.
So it's quality information that's very niche oriented, right?
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing on top of that, I would recommend looking into is your Google business profile. There in zero click search results these days, where what I mean is like people aren't going to hunt through websites like they used to anymore because they're just getting tired. They're getting, they're knowing that all these people are just paying. They're not necessarily the right choice. They're the ones who, jockeyed for the best positioning. They're looking for real information. And the way that you can actually show a good representation of how you are more valuable than everybody else is by using your Google business profile, not just a good representation of your business when the hours are or your Google reviews, which are important, but also you can use that to upload images of your past projects, showing your team, spotlighting your clients, and doing case studies like, hey, the best thing you can say is, "Hey, we discovered this situation. This deck was on a hill, and it was, it was porous, and it was a really difficult thing. So we figured out how to use ground screws or things like that that were innovative, that were something new. And from that, we actually are now able to provide that as well, and putting it into your Google Business Profile, so that when the search bots are going through, they may just kind of use that as the number one motivator to put you at the top and to draw upon that to go on to the generative uh, paragraph, so that
So
it's just that competitive advantage that you would
how
have.
much can you put in a Google as like 1,000 words, 500? How much can you throw in a Google profile before it becomes overwhelming?
Um, well, I mean, you can actually, there's ways that you can, do stories, and you can actually upload video now. You can do really short vignettes that people are way more interested in watching a short vignette over reading a bunch of information. But the, yes, we are a scanning society, and the less you can put in, the better. However, it is also a thing where the AI bots for the language learning or the large learning modules out there, like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, they're looking for that information as it as long as that information is relevant, is expertly written by a human, and isn't overly AI generated, it's going to be something that they actually put as, well, this company's legit. All these other guys are just, doing PPC, and they're all just attack the clones. This person actually cares enough to inform me on multiple levels about how I can envision a successful project. Therefore, this guy has my trust and confidence
But
in order to
the good
contact.
news is AI is better at seeking out a genuine solution than just throwing money at it. So that's the goodness. I guess the good news about AI is it's getting
It
smart,
is.
so it can help you find the best guy, not the guy who just paid the most money, right?
Absolutely. Well, and then, just one step before that is it can find the best answer to the question the person's asking, and then giving recommendations based on that, which, it galvanizes any kind of decision because it's so, recommended.
Right, that's good. So, Rusty, if people want to get a hold of you, I mean, everybody's probably spending some money on marketing. Most people are complaining about it. Most people aren't getting the results they expected. I think that's typical. So, if they want to give you a call and say, look, am I doing the right thing or not? Am I spending too much? Not enough? I'm getting results. I'm paying so much per lead. Can they talk to you about that? Does it cost them any money to have that first half hour, an hour or so?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't know if I'm allowed to advertise off of you guys, but we have our own resource library. It's called louderbuilder.com, and it
Okay.
is completely 100% free. And it's basically everything that I said, including all the other tactics about marketing, about video, about social media, what's the right things, what's the wrong things, specifically for companies in the building industry. um,
Great.
you know, uh, because of the fact that it's such a unique category. It's not selling sock monkeys online, or try to book seats at a nail salon or a restaurant. It's a very difficult business environment, so it's a different way of having to think about marketing people. So through our reputation, or through our experience, we've kind of synthesized all the big questions that everybody always has, found the patterns, and we try to answer them just like you do on yours as well.
Cool. Okay, so that sounds great. So if people want to get a hold of you, Rusty, do they go to your website? What's the basic way to get a hold of you?
We are rustygeorge.com.
Okay, well, that's pretty simple. And then,
rustygeorge.com, and then the library is on rustygeorge.com, but it's called Louder Builder. So
okay. Well, thank you, Rusty. I appreciate your time. And I'm sure a lot of people are frustrated with marketing. It is encouraging, there's an upside to AI. This is just not the more money wins, because if AI can help people make a genuinely better decision about the right contractor, not the one that's paying the most money, that's very
absolutely.
encouraging. So thanks for your
That is,
time.
and if people can actually wrap their brains around it and be able to do that, they're going to be 90% farther than everyone else out there in the industry, or they'll be farther than 90% of all the other guys that are slugging it out for their business.
Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate your time.
All right, Paul.